A hot topic in Canada these days, in terms of security, defense, and intelligence, seems to be, is it worth pursuing new relationships in this space? So, Canada, historically, the strongest partnerships have been with the Five Eyes: United States, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand. And although the official word is, oh, everything's all peachy keen, we all know that that's not true. That the changes from the Trump administration have severely weakened that relationship and are having negative impacts throughout the Five Eyes. So Canada's pursuing these other relationships in the defense space. Is it worth doing? I see a lot of commentary where people are like, no, we should just not bother because of the geographical proximity. The United States is always going to be a really important defense partner, which I agree with. And so, when the Trump administration's gone, which it will be, it can't last forever, are we going to, we'll just go back to the way things were? And I really hesitate with that kind of thinking because I just don't see really good evidence for it, because we never actually move back in time. We only move forward. So, the Five Eyes relationship started 80 years ago. Actually, originally it was called the UK-USA agreement, which, says a lot about Canada being the junior partner at the time. And so all of these relationships, they evolve anyway. So to say like, we're going to go back, well, we're going to go back to what? How it was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 80 years ago. Like, you don't go back. You are who you are, and you figure out your relationships in that space. And you can think of it like there's a really good analogy to just how friendships work with people in general, right? I mean, you think if you have a group of friends, you've been friends forever, and then maybe one person, they end up with a partner who you don't really like, you don't really click with. The relationship takes a hit. You don't really see them too much. So, you have some now free relationship time, and you've started these new hobbies and you develop these new friends. Well, later down the road, that friend breaks up with that partner and says, I'm really sorry. I'd really like to rekindle our friendship. And you're like, okay, you're a good person. There's a lot of shared history, but like, I have these other friends now. So it has to be in the context of the person I am now, not the person I was when we started being friends, however many years ago. It works really similar for countries. You develop relationships, you develop trade agreements and all sorts of exchange agreements, and you don't just stop doing them, right? They give you ideas, they give you leverage, and then you keep moving forward with that. So last week in Canada, the King and Queen of Sweden showed up. And, big delegation, there's like lots of conversations. By all accounts, it was a total love-in. Everybody's really happy with it. And there's some controversy over some fighter jets. So we were originally going to buy our fighter jets from an American company. There's a Swedish company that makes them. Maybe we're going to go buy some from Sweden, but there's a lot of retired Canadian generals who are like, no, we got to buy the American ones. It's like this thing. But the fighter jets are kind of a distractive issue, right? They're the top of the iceberg. They're the part above the water that you can see. Under the water, by having these talks, by opening this relationship with Sweden even further in the defense space, the Canadian government is signaling to everybody who works in the defense, security, and intelligence space, hey, these people are friends. This country is now a friend. So start exploring other opportunities for sharing, whether it's technologies, these sort of like more micro projects, information, like who knows, right? But now they're on the friendly list, or they're more on the friendly list. So let's go explore. What can we share? How can we collaborate? So it's not just about the fighter jets. It's not just about the big ticket items. These relationships that you have in this space develop all sorts of connections. And once you have those connections, if they're working well, if you're getting information or technologies and it's a really productive relationship, you're not going to just dump it in order to go back to some mythical state when things were better, maybe, if they even were. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just really important to remember that countries, friendships, they kind of works the same way. And we need to constantly work with the way the world is now, not as we'd like it to be, not as we hope it's going to be. I mean, obviously, I hope that Canada, keeps going, has a good relationship with the States when it comes to security, like at the very least because of our large shared border. And that relationship is important, and I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying that relationships, countries, everything evolves, and you have to roll with it and adjust for that. So to try to go back in time is kind of useless. Anyways, questions or comments, let me know. I think this is an important issue, and it deserves a lot of careful thought, obviously. Otherwise, hope everyone's doing well.